Most movies today are 3D. They have height and width, and they change over time. Okay, that's 3 dimensions. And that third dimension is what makes movies different from photos. The fourth dimension, the Z dimension, is something that is easily inferred by the viewer from a lifetime of looking at the world. Perspective is used to make sense of the visual pictures we see, either real, or in a book, or on a movie screen. Common sense also helps us to place objects in space. We know how big things generally are, and the bigger things are, the closer they probably are. Flat pictures and flat movies are no problem. We never complained about missing anything. You could walk around all day with one eye closed and never have a problem. But having 2 eyes gives us some special opportunities for more precisely estimating the distance between 2 objects, or judging how far away something is from us. This comes in very handy when chasing down food, especially when the food doesn't want to be caught. Tiny muscles in your eyes are constantly changing the focusing power of the eye's lens, depending on the distance from the eye. In addition, when using 2 eyes to zero in on an object, our eyes move back and forth independently so that both eyes have the same object centered. For distance scenes, both eyes look straight ahead. But as things get closer, the eyes have to look more and more inward, or cross-eyed, to keep the same object in the center of the image, and to keep the object focused on the part of each eye that has the best imaging hardware. Your brain processes all these things: the effort needed to focus, the angle of the crossed eyes, which things are hidden behind other things, and figures out where things are. It comes in handy to know where in the world we are in relation to other things, especially if we're in a tree and need to jump out of the way, or need to swing on a vine to get to the next tree. So, reading a picture book, or watching a movie with only 2 dimensions of depth, like a flat screen, is perfectly acceptable. But how can we add that missing dimension? Wouldn't that make the story more real? Think about the difference between watching a play on stage and watching the televised version of it. The actors on stage are real. You know that anything can happen, and the performance is definitely live. It's more exciting when it's live, and watching a live event on TV is more exciting than a canned performance. If a picture or movie were more like a presentation, wouldn't you feel like you were there? How can we add the third dimension to a picture? When we look at a scene with 2 eyes, we get 2 different perspectives. Our eyes are about 65 millimeters apart, and that's enough to get 2 views which are different enough to let us know where things are in space. If we take 2 different photos and show each one to only one of our eyes, we can trick the brain into seeing a third dimension. There will be no focal feedback, there will be no cross-eyed range finding, but for the most part, a stereogram setup for looking at pictures and movies can provide a sense of depth and space that is quite entrancing. You can create stereo picture pairs with your own camera. Use the cha-cha method. Take a picture with your weight on your left foot, then shift your weight over to your right foot and take another picture of exactly the same scene. Now you have your left and right stereogram images. How good are you at crossing your eyes? I happen to be quite good at this since I've been practicing since childhood. So, put the right photo on the left and the left photo on the right and cross your eyes. This works great with still shots and with movies. You'll see 4 images as each eye sees both pictures, but when the 2 middle copies line up with each other, you will see in 3D. It's stunning because it's so simple and so effective. You do need to force your eyes to cross, and they need to learn to focus at a distance that they're not expecting. Like I said, it's easy for some of us. If you can't manage that, then you'll need a stereoscope, 2 lenses and a holder to keep the pictures at the proper distance. The lenses force your eyes to focus on faraway objects and to stay uncrossed, even though they would want to cross and focus on things 8 inches from your nose. People love these stereoscopes, and you probably have used the ViewMaster viewer that uses transparent slides. You can buy simple viewers for about $1.50, or a nicer one for about $12. For these viewers, you want the left picture on the left. It's easy to make still photos of still life. What if you have action in your pictures, or worse, people who are walking, or cars that are traveling down the road? If you can't get them to stop and stand still, you'll need 2 cameras. Remember that the average pair of eyes is only 65 millimeters apart, so you may have to tie your 2 matching cameras together with one of them upside down. If you can afford 2 matching cameras, then go ahead. And you can flip one picture right side up without too much trouble. This method is also used for feature movies, although they might use a half-silvered mirror and mount 2 cameras at right angles. The ever-popular red-blue glasses were used for movie viewing in the 1950s. The left scene was visible through the red-tinted lens, which blocked or masked all the red color. The right picture is only viewable by the blue, or cyan, lens. I saw the very poor Spy Kids 3D movie that used red-blue glasses for some of the video game scenes. The 3D was okay, but I had a terrible headache that night. Today's 3D movies use a different technique. They use Polaroid lenses. Polaroid lenses are really cool, and I hope you have a Polaroid lens filter for your camera. Not for shooting 3D. I don't think anyone shoots 3D with Polaroid filters, but for blocking glare and helping to bring out the clouds against the blue sky. Anyway, if you have 2 projectors with a left and right image, you can filter the side-to-side light from one side and the up and down light waves from the other, and use the Polaroid glasses with matching lenses to see only the correct image for each eye. Most people have no problem seeing the 3D this way. However, there are other things about how movies are made that can cause headaches, and most of the 3D movies nowadays are loud, fast-moving, flashing action movies that might annoy some people regardless of the 3D effects. All new televisions today are 3D. Well, any TV you want to buy, if you like TV, is 3D. They are all really great 2D TVs, but 3D is thrown in anyway. The big TV manufacturers have agreed on a standard for how to show 3D. Yay. And now you can buy cheap 3D glasses that will work with all the major brands. These are not the same Polaroid glasses that work so well in the theaters. These are active shutter glasses. Instead of showing 2 different pictures all at the same time, TV can rapidly switch back and forth between 2 different viewing angles. The active shutter glasses switch back and forth 60 times a second in sync with the flashing pictures. This happens more than twice as fast as the typical film frames in conventional movies. So there really is no problem. Modern TV glasses use Bluetooth radio transmissions for pairing and syncing. You can get 3D active shutter glasses for about $20. End of Part 1. Please turn the record over for Part 2.